Marnie, so approximately 30 years ago, you're newly married. There's all your hopes and aspiration. You're starting on a career, and then something happened that completely changed your life. Can you tell us what that was?
I was in a car accident. I was hit from behind, and my head hit a fixed headrest that was not in a good position. And following that, I just found that I had whiplash, but I felt that something wasn't right. My brain wasn't working the way it was before. I was exhausted. I had severe headaches. I kept complaining to my doctor that something was wrong, and she didn't pick up on it. She didn't think that there was anything other than the pain medications I was on causing problems. But I found that I couldn't express myself in the same way. I couldn't think clearly. Just life was different.
And so how were you able to go about your daily living? Because you had an accident, there's a recovery time. Like, how did you function? I mean, your new wife, you went on to have children. How were you able to function?
It was very limited. I found initially I really had to relearn how to do a lot of things, because one day I'm Marney, as I knew me, and the next day I couldn't function in the world in the same way. So I found that I needed a lot more support. I was much more limited in what I could do. Even something like grocery shopping became overwhelming. Just standing in front of a wall full of crackers, I knew I needed crackers, but I couldn't see them separately to figure out which ones I actually wanted to buy. And by the time I'd finished the process of shopping, I'd come home and be exhausted and have to nap. It's not a normal way of trying to get through life.
You were telling me that you couldn't even be in a crowded, noisy place. You couldn't go to places because you'd pick up. I remember once when we went out for lunch one time, you had to wear a special headset because you could not be in a place where there was other people that were talking. There was a lot of movement. So that would be very debilitating for you.
It was hard. I lost the ability, just from that accident, I lost the ability to be able to filter out visual and auditory noise stimulation. So to be in a noisy restaurant, I would not be able to hear what you were saying. I could listen, but my brain wasn't able to process. And so I'd lose parts of the conversation, and I literally would feel like I was physically someplace, but as if I were out of body watching from someplace else and not really being able to participate, because my brain was not being able to process all that was going on for me to actually be able to be present.
When this whiplash car accident happened to you, at the time you did not have disability insurance. I know Gary was just getting started in the industry, and you didn't even know about disability insurance. How would that have changed your life if you had known about disability insurance and you had it?
It would have taken a lot of pressure off Gary, being the sole money earner. And I would have, I think, as far as my self-esteem goes, it would have allowed me to feel that I was contributing, even though I couldn't go out and actually get a job. I would have been contributing financially. And there were times when money was tight, and to know that I couldn't do anything about that there was no way I'd be able to help support Gary and our kids and still stay married was challenging.
So from your point of view now, what would you say about disability insurance? How important is it to have?
I think it's incredibly important to have been in a position of not having it and being disabled at a young age and not being able to work. We could see, and that's why I think partly why Gary is so good at it, is because personally we were living in a situation where it would have been very important to have and not to have been able to contribute to our household income because of it, given that I had a disability. So I think anybody who qualifies, who's able to get it, that they'd be foolish not to pursue trying to get disability insurance, because you don't know what life's going to hand you. As much as nobody plans to get sick, nobody plans to be disabled, things happen and they're out of our control. And no matter how hard I tried to work, I wasn't able to. And so it wasn't a matter of a will or wanting to do it. I just wasn't able to work and to maintain having a relationship with my husband, with our kids, keeping a home. So it's that blanket, that security blanket that families need.